The archetype of Lilith, the wild and raw feminine essence, is on a mission with those 28 days ahead. Namaste, Star Family. Welcome to the Matrix Oracle. My name is Audrey. This is your cosmic weather forecast for the upcoming new moon, November 20th, 2025. This is going to be in the last degrees of Scorpio when you're working with Western astrology and what that means. First, I want to review the meaning of the new moons when you're working in connection between astrology and your kundalini. Your kundalini is your life force. It's what keeps you connected to the cosmos. And the sun and the moon, they are connected to your third eye. And that means that with the sacred dance between feminine and masculine, seen and unseen, conscious and subconscious, every 28 days, we have the ability to unveil what we were not able to see previously. The theme of what we are setting as a collective intention to discover for the next 28 days is going to be about this topic between yin and yang. Let me explain. Scorpio as an archetype and its light work, it is a messenger between the unseen and the seen, the subconscious and the conscious. And when you're towards the end, before entering Sagittarius, Sagittarius is a manifester. It is really when you have completed almost the wheel. We're towards the end, okay? You've completed so many steps that lead you to finally understand how to create, how to become a manifester, a strong manifester. But for this to occur, you need a coherence between yin and yang, heart and mind. So for the next 28 days, there's a focus on heart-mind coherence, on your inner balance of yin and yang. And actually, in terms of energy, when you're working with the Merkaba, the ascension vehicle, there is this triangle aiming downward, which is yin energy, and the one aiming upward, that is yang. And the way it spins, it has a particular ratio that allows you, through this energy, this proper alignment between masculine and feminine, to ascend, to transcend the limitations of duality. Now, because this new moon is occurring in the first house, which is the house that relates to the year of gestation when you were in your mother's womb, that means that for the next 28 days, you're going to probably pay attention to your own patterns between feminine and masculine that you inherited, and destructuring the limiting ones, empowering the ones that need empowerment. And I love that Venus is just above the horizon in those degrees of Scorpio. That is about bridging the gap between what is felt and what needs to be seen, okay? Versus like, I'm feeling this, and then being able to witness it. Yes, everything that manifests in this reality is first felt. You're also witnessing that Mars is in that first house energy and creating this square energy between the South Node and the North Node collectively. I don't know why they didn't put an opposition here between South and North, but that creates half of a square with Mars in those degrees of Sagittarius that are helping us healing our soul. So there is, at a collective level, an awareness of how it is important for us in the next years, decades, in order to ascend, in order to transcend some of the limitations of the matrices that we have created collectively, to have a proper heart-mind coherence. In opposition to the new moon, we have Uranus in retrograde in those last degrees of Taurus that are very much about bringing the light that you are within, and that means like looking at your own reflection. Yes, others are here to mirror, but making sure that you're understanding yourself. So a lot of introspection. And when you're able to look at yourself and how you're reacting, or ideally responding to the reality that surrounds you, how it triggers inside of you this healing process, this alchemy, this process of ascension. Now, you'll notice that I added on this slide all the goddess archetype that I love working with. And one that stands out here for this new moon energy is Lilith. Lilith is conjunct to this new moon, all about feminine and masculine energy, and that means the archetype of the raw, wild, feminine is roaring out for this moment of collective healing. The archetype of Lilith, the wild and raw feminine essence, is on a mission with those 28 days ahead to make sure you no longer ignore your intuition, that you no longer censor what you're receiving through your body, the signals that are meant to help you navigate a greater reality that you are creating for yourself, but also collectively. We also have Goddess Nyx and Medusa, as well as Goddess Ishtar, creating this Yod energy, finger of God to Uranus retrograde, creating this inflow of focus towards your own light. Those feminine archetype, the feminine essence here is on fire. It wants you to be anchored through your presence, through your body. It wants to anchor and help you raise your vibration. We also have Goddess Kali in the beginning of Pisces that is helping you tap into this potential of transformation, help you transform and get out of the caterpillar state and move on to this butterfly stage. If some of you are interested in learning more about those archetypes, especially how they relate to your chart, what they trigger, what messages they have for you, you can go and check out my Patreon page. Now we're going to move on as well to the 9 muses of the Greek mythology as they help us stay inspired with the flow of life, connected to divine intelligence and source. Here we are now among the 9 muses to connect to our own passion, our own fire to stay inspired. And for this next 28 days, let's look at what those muses are telling us, guiding us to pay attention to have proper heart-mind coherence in order to step into the reality of our dreams. Because through this yin-yang balance, it activates your ascension vehicle, your Merkaba, and that helps you rise, that helps you vibrate higher, and ultimately your vibration uplifts the entire planet. First, I'm noticing Muse Melpomene near this new moon energy, not too far from our dear Lilith. And this muse is all about theater, but also tragedy, the mask that we wear, the roles that we play as we walk this life. And that means that there's going to be healing about certain masks we had to wear in order to survive. So I love this guidance here for Melpomene. Then I am noticing Muse Terpsichore, the muse of dance and movement that is in those degrees of Libra, that is very much about bringing comfort, bringing as well, bringing more space, more breathing space into your life. So an invitation here to soften through the next cycle. So if you've been thinking about doing yoga, including more stretching, it seems that it's going to also help with some of the pieces, associations matrices that were built on the old programs because of that 11th house energy. So as you allow your body to create more space, you allow also yourself to open and broaden your horizon. You also have Muse Polymnia, the muse of spiritual creativity, that is creating this square energy with Venus just above the horizon, helping you tap into the power of your heart and also letting you be guided by the creative ideas, influx, feelings that are coming to the surface through the next 28 days and following those ideas. Just go after it. I'm telling you, this is the perfect cycle for it. Why am I saying this? It's because in opposition to Muse Polymnia, we have three muses. Muse Euterpe, the muse of music. Muse Urania, muse of astrology. And Muse Erato, the muse of romance, how to romanticize your life, that are directly involved with this half square with Venus at the apex. It's as if, especially with this house here, the third house, the communication between your higher self and your lower self, how with Pluto that is in those degrees of Aquarius that speak of the law of resonance, the more you work on your vibration. But what vibration? The vibration of loving who you are, truly accepting who you are and who you are becoming. And it seems that following the principles and guidance of astrology can be helpful at this time. You will see that your heart will open up those doorways. As you start opening more and more into your heart center, stopping ignoring your feminine essence, your intuition, you might have with here Cleo in retrograde near the Chiron retrograde. You may have some remembrance of things that you have lived that may have influenced why you're still stuck in certain mode of operation. Be gentle with yourself. This energy is here to bring light into some past experiences, whether this current lifetime or past lifetime, that need now some readjustment, some realignment. You got this. It's really going to create a line of tension so you can rise above the situation. Muse Talia, the muse of humor, also comedy, is in those degrees of Capricorn that is highly teaching on the power of focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. And she is here to remind you, especially with this trine direct to the collective South Node, that you want, when you learn more about yourself, bring a little bit of humor, heart lightness, when you start discovering parts of yourself that were hidden. Especially that you see as well, there is the sextile with the collective North Node that is merged with Muse Calliope. Muse Calliope is the chief muse of the 9 muses, and she is about those writing skills, the ones that are helping you script your life. And that is an amazing moment in time. Why am I saying this? It's because this is the muse that helps you rewrite any story. So if you've been living a story that doesn't feel like it's aligned with your soul, if you want to take a chance on creating something new, you have the support of the collective North Node and this muse that is going to help you stay inspired and receive the insights that are needed through this new moon cycle. Now, you know that I never leave you without any type of energy support, because you're receiving a lot of information and you might be overwhelmed. Hey, so what does that mean in terms of my own journey? How can I bring more heart-mind coherence? How can I stop ignoring how my intuition is talking to me? How can I stop doubting myself? How can I bring more clarity, more focus in knowing what I'm receiving? Well, in terms of frequency, what I'm going to recommend here, because all of this is happening in the womb, okay? I have a womb detoxifier frequency, and that means all that you've inherited, conscious or subconscious, is going to be uplifted. You're going to have some awareness of it that can come through, stream through as you listen to the frequency. And if you want to enhance the session, what I would recommend is connecting with the power of your hands, with mudras. There is one that connects to yin and yang energy, where you create this infinity loop, okay? And when you have your right thumb on top, that's actually more of the yang energy. And then you're going to connect all your fingers together, okay? So that is to tap into your yang masculine energy. So you can listen to the womb detoxifier and release all those old programs that you inherited regarding the yang masculine energy. You can do some breath work, and then you can switch into the left thumb on top, which will be the yin energy, the feminine energy. And you can do as well some breath work. If you like to add the power of your voice, of sound, I would suggest Om. Om connecting you to your third eye. Om also connecting you to an activation of seeing the things that you're not yet seeing, and you'll be able with this to activate deeper connection and coherence between your heart and your mind. For the ones that are part of the Instagram subscription or even my Patreon, I'm going to be going live, so I share with you some of the guidance that I have personally for our star family for this new moon cycle. I will see you there. And thank you so much for your presence. Remember, sending some love and some light. Namaste.